Alright, y'all, this is like the fourth video I've recorded today. Again, I record massively in advance, so just, if I'm not all there in the head, just keep that in mind. But, anyway, into the video. Yeah, truth be told, I feel pretty good about it, not gonna lie. Not many complaints. Alright, let's get into it. Hello everybody, my name is Christian, and today, I want to do something that's gonna be a bit different. It's still going to be talking about Star Rail, which is what I'm known for, what I do, blah, 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 blah. But it's more so, I want to kind of talk about my experience specifically. Because for many of you who may not know, I did try Genshin Impact. I played for about 8 hours doing like 2 parts of the Mondstadt story and then didn't touch it again for 2 years, I think. So, not fantastic. And I did play a little bit of Fire Emblem Heroes because I am a massive Fire Emblem fan, but I didn't really super get into the gacha aspect of it. I was just playing it because it was a new Fire Emblem game technically. And it really wasn't a Fire Emblem game. I really do not like Fire Emblem Heroes. That's a thing for another day. But the way I see it and the way I feel about it, Honkai Star Rail is truthfully my first gacha game that I've really actually played, that I've spent a proper amount of time in, that I've actually given a fair shot, really experienced. And the thing is, though, is that a lot of the community has been very, very, very negative recently. And obviously, I'm no better. I also contribute to that. But it is sad to see so constantly that it feels like people just don't have anything positive left to say in general. Like, that's kind of the wild part, is that I make these videos talking about issues in the game because I want to bring it up, I want to make sure they're known, and it shines a light on these things. But I still like the game, and I like to talk about things that I do like in the game. We have a video coming out soon that's going to be talking entirely about March 7th, and why I love everything about her design, how she works, like why I think Hunt, the March 7th Hunt path, is just amazing. And then a while back, we did the hybrid character video. All the hybrid characters like Welt, Ling Sha, Himiko, all the IPC characters. That is something I love. That is such a cool trait that I absolutely adore that they've kind of made a consistent thing. But all in all, it feels like there's just constant more negativity and not as much positivity towards the game to people who even make content about it. And I'm like, it's just sad to see. So for me personally, as someone who hasn't been doing this for like ages and years, dealing with Genshin, dealing with Honkai Impact, having to deal with like Arknights, or having to deal with FGO, all these other games. As somebody who has just essentially done Star Rail, and then I've been getting into more games now that I've been playing Star Rail because it kind of opened me up to the genre. I just want to talk about things that I do enjoy, or things that like interested me about this game, and why me as a first-time gacha game player really enjoyed it and resonated with it, and you know how it ended up becoming something that I make consistent videos about. Because you can go back and look, before I ever did this, guys, I was a freaking Nintendo YouTuber. I was trying my best at that, and then I was doing like Overcooked videos. I did a bunch of stuff. But this is ultimately what I decided on. It was successful, yes, and that does have an influence, but even before my first ever Star Rail video came out, as I was editing it, I also played through the entirety of Belobog. I was just that excited to actually get back into the game. Something just spoke to me and said, hey, let's go back to this. That sounds fun. And wouldn't you know it, here I am over a year later. Alright, so that was a lot of preamble and stuff, you know. Let's actually talk about the first thing that kind of pulled me in, something I really enjoyed, and it is the combat. Now, I know, power creep this, power creep that. I'm gonna ignore that, because ultimately, I do actually just enjoy the combat in this game. The thing is, though, is that, yeah, power creep exists, it kind of sucks, oh well. We also need to remember, this is a AAA game we're playing for free, and endgame content is optional. I'm thinking about characters I'm using for just clearing the story, all the cool things you get to experience in the story. So first of all, let's start off with, I really enjoy turn-based combat. It can be very hit or miss, but what kind of grabbed me with Star Rail initially is that it reminded me of one of my favorite games of all time, Persona 5 Royal. Now, for those of you who have played both, you're probably wondering, am I smoking crack? I'm not. I just want to clarify, I'm not. But the games are very different. It's hard to really say why I feel that comparison, but just the way this whole thing works, the way the games play, the style that they have, it's all very different, but it all feels so familiar to me. What I mainly like is the fact that with the toughness bar, it kind of reminds me of characters in Persona 5 being weak to certain elements. So if you hit them with their ideal element, they go down, and then you can get a bonus attack, or you can get an all-out attack, all that good stuff. Obviously, Star Rail isn't the same, but there's a lot of incentive to prioritizing hitting the element that they have. We even made a whole fucking team out of it with break teams. You want to have that element, and it kind of adds another layer of depth to it, and it adds a layer of enjoyment, because it's like, oh man, I have to use this character to break this person, and, maybe if I don't have a good person for this, I can try this out, blah, 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 blah. Obviously, this matters a lot more in the early game when you're still learning and when everything is weak as all hell. But still, it is enjoyable. The break system, the toughness bars and all that. It's a cool mechanic. Not to mention, I also just like how the turn-based combat ultimately works. You have the turn order and you can influence it with having your characters be faster, action-advancing characters, and then, just not even to mention, big damage number do go crazy. I do like seeing big number. And without that much investment, in a lot of cases, you can find a way to see big number, and that's fun. The dopamine do be hidden, that's all I'm saying. All in all, I really do like the combat in this game. It can be very fun, especially when you're not in endgame, because let's think about just some of the things we've gotten to fight. Think back to the Cocolia boss fight. That was sick. We're gonna go into, the story element of it later, but it's just a giant fucking robot that's objectively awesome. And then the uniqueness of the Sunday fight, where you have to break down his little minions, and then they can all kind of exist separately, and it's all to deal with the Grand Conductor. We can move on to the Flame Reaver. Once again, you have to break all of his forms, and he has damage reduction. Not to mention, he can do joint attacks to you, which is insane and has not really been seen before. That's kinda sick. I'm just saying. Even all the way back to the Doomsday boss, where you have to fight not only him, you have to defeat his hands. His hands! It's like those freaking Nintendo bosses where they always have, hey, shoot the hand or shoot the palm in the hand. Like, why? Why is that always a thing, Nintendo? I don't know, but it's ingrained in my head now and I like it. Keep doing it. It's all stuff like that. It really is very interesting what they do with just so many of the enemies and with the combat itself in this game. Because there's another thing we can still talk about, and it's the variety of teams you have available. We got break teams. We have follow-up teams with all the hunt characters. We have counter teams. We have whatever the hell Aglaya and Castoris are. There are so many fun options to use in this game, and I feel like you're gonna find something that resonates with you no matter what. You're always gonna be able to find some character that speaks to you, you're gonna enjoy their playstyle, and obviously if you could get an entire team of characters you like, that's great, that's awesome, I'm so happy for you. That's not gonna be an everyone thing, and that's understandable. But getting that one character that you just love to use, you love their whole vibe, you love how they play, that's great, and I feel like that's something that's easily achievable for everyone. And that's once again the kind of benefit of party-based games. You can almost always include them. Or you can include them, and then you can make them better with the characters around them. It's all just a really, really fun, unique style. I really enjoy it. Again, I keep saying that, but I want to emphasize it because it is important. And it is genuinely something that I feel like has become greatly undervalued by this point. So, again, I want to make that clear. This is going to be the more positive video. So now, with all that said, I want to move on to something that's going to be a bit more brief, and it is just the character designs. I really, really, really love the character designs. Before I switched to doing more kind of meta gameplay discussion stuff, I made a lot of videos just talking about characters, talking about interactions, talking about, design, all that good stuff. Star Rail has some of my favorite designs, probably in, just media. And obviously, they're not going to be the highest up, but just in terms of designs, the design of a character like Gwennyfen, I absolutely love everything about her. The bright hair, the beautiful dress, all the colors on it, just the eyes being a different color. She's got the flower petal in her hair. It is just such a fun design. It looks amazing, and it's something that I have not seen in almost anything else. I have played a lot of games. I have watched a lot of anime. I've watched a lot of TV. This is just something that I don't get to see in many other of the media that I consume. It is an absolutely wonderful design, and I feel similarly on a lot of the characters in Star Rail. I really love how a lot of them look, how a lot of them are kind of made. And that's not even going into their personalities. Once again, I think that's pretty good, but that's less of a unique feature to Star Rail itself, so that's not really as worth talking about today. Next up, let's talk about the story. Now, I absolutely understand if the story is not for you. I get it. Story is not for everyone, and growing up, I really did not like story at all. I wasn't a big reader, and then whenever I played games, I was mainly like a shooter game person as a kid. I played a lot of Call of Duty, played a lot of Halo, played a lot of Super Smash Brothers. I still played a lot of Super Smash Brothers for a very long time. We don't talk about that. But still, I was never a story person. I just didn't want that in my games. As I got older, though, I kind of started appreciating it more. I played a lot more games with stories that really resonated with me. And while Star Rails isn't on that same level, because some of my favorite stories of all time are from Persona 5, from the Xenoblade games. We don't talk about Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem ain't got that good of stories, but gameplay go crazy. But while the story isn't amazing, it is still pretty good. There's a lot of depth to it that has only grown over time with Penacony, and now we go into Amphorius where they're really turning the narrative just up another level. Unfortunately, that also means a lot of fucking waiting, and that's really aggravating a lot of people. And again, I get it, but still, I like it. They're building up more stories. They're going into more detail. They're expanding more and more. Because now we aren't just spending 3 updates in one place. We're about to spend 7 or 8. We barely know anything about Amphorius, and we've already played for like 20 hours of story. But at the same time, it's still so interesting. There's so much to know, so much to learn, and what's there so far has been really, really good. And even then, I'm talking about these most recent 2, we can still go back to the very start of the journey with the Herta Space Station, but more importantly, Belobog. Belobog was as good of an introduction to this game as there could be, I feel. It set up just a very interesting journey that started leading deeper and deeper with now the Stellaron whispers to Cocolia. She's starting to try and kill us, and then you see the difference between the 2 worlds, the underworld and the overworld, the kind of societal lapses between the 2, how they have to survive down there, whereas they get to live in heat and comfort above. All of that leads to our main character getting stabbed. That's crazy. And gaining the power of an Aeon. There is no introduction to this game that I feel like they could have done that would have topped what Belobog did for so many players, I feel. Because that is what kind of hooked me in fully. And that is what hooked in a lot of people fully. Then we got the Lawfu. Everybody has their own opinions on it, mostly negative. But I like the Lawfu. It was fun. They killed my favorite character, so I wasn't too keen on that, but what are you gonna do, right? Overall, the story has just been super enjoyable, and while again, it isn't the best, I still feel like it has more legs to stand on than quite a few other gacha games, and even some just other games in general. You can tell the writers really do care, and they are trying to give us a great experience and improve, and that really says a lot about what they want and what they are trying to do with this game, and it as an experience. And now, I sit here trying to think of what else I had to say, because I never write anything down before I prep these videos. Good job, me. Something that's not going to be as big to everybody else, but it is something that I personally just enjoy, it is the fact of it having an English dub. Getting to experience this game and have it be in something that I can understand makes it a lot better for me personally. And at the same time, it also means that I get to hear more of just some of my absolute favorite actors, who in a lot of cases are the reason I was introduced to a lot of different forms of media, and also just a profession that I respect a great deal. I've made this known in the past quite often. I have a very, very deep respect for voice acting and voiceover as a profession. I feel like actors simply do not get the credit they deserve. We're of course seeing that right now with the SAG shit. Of course, AI, blah, 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 blah. That's also going to be a video for another day. It's honestly really nice to be able to get to see these actors in these roles in this game that I really enjoy, because it makes me appreciate them more, and it's also a way that I get to hear more from them. Like, for example, some of my favorite actors, Allegra Clark, who I learned of because of Fire Emblem Three Houses, she's Acheron, and Acheron had one of the best stories and performances in this entire game. I absolutely loved Acheron, and she did such a great job with it. And then next up, we get to see Faye Mata as Jade. I've made it clear I'm not a huge fan of Jade. However, I love Faye Mata, and what she did with the character is absolutely incredible. Because not to mention, it also displays the absolute depth of ability that a lot of these actors have, comparing this to the other role I knew her for, which is Petra from Fire Emblem Three Houses. And not to mention, Aqua from Konosuba. Go listen to Aqua and then listen to Jade. Obviously, the voice is still somewhat similar, but just the tone and the energy, oh my god. But yeah, the voice work of this game is just so impressive. These are actors who are really very committed to their craft, and they've done an incredible job with it. There is not any performance in Star Rail that I really find bad. I may find the character bad, but that's a completely different thing. Like, I wasn't impressed with Luca for the longest time because Luca had one piece of story about him, and that was it, and it really wasn't, like, that much, in my opinion, just to me. It didn't matter that much to me. But then Luca got a bigger role in the War Dance, and we got to see more of that performance, and it was really, really impressive. The storytelling on display was very, very good, and those voices matter a lot. Please, for the love of God, stop trying to have AI take over these people's jobs! I'm fine. Moving on. But yes, I love voice acting. I love the actors in this game. They are amazing. Never let anyone tell you otherwise. Last but not least, and this one is obviously gonna be much more personal to me, is kind of the community that has been fostered because of this game. While the community at large has always been very different, and I feel like the community at large hasn't been super positive as of late, something that I have just really enjoyed a lot has indeed been getting to see, like, my community getting to form that with these videos. And it's made this a lot more fun because I've gotten to see so many more like-minded people that I never would have known otherwise without this game or without these videos. At the same time, it's also just a lot of fun to meet more people who have a common interest with you. Because, honestly, that's not the easiest thing nowadays. I mean, it can be, but a lot of people really struggle to find people who can connect with them. Not to mention, as popular as gaming has become in recent years, it's nowhere near as negatively looked down upon. It's still not the best thing in a lot of people's eyes. So in a lot of cases, it's a lot easier to try and find people on the internet who you can kind of resonate with and connect with. And, you know, they're going to understand your passion. They're going to understand what you enjoy a bit more. It really is meaningful that we've gotten to a point where I've made real friends from this community. It's just, you know, it is meaningful. And it is something that I wouldn't have without this game and without enjoying it as much as I do. And while enjoying it is never required, that does make it easier to still reach out to people, to connect with people over this one thing. Because they find it fun, I find it fun. There we go. We have something in common. We've met in the middle, and it can only improve from there. Overall, I think my ending remarks here. Star Rail is far from a perfect game. It is far from a perfect game. Because again, power creep this, power creep that, blah, blah, blah. The story isn't perfect. A lot of the characters kind of get lost to time. Because even in the case of characters who have just not been super strong for a while, there's also the case of characters just not getting their time to shine. Like, we see Hanya and Zhuyi once every 6 months or something. Gonaifen shows up for events and that's about it. When's the last time we saw Pela or Natasha? Even Xingshui got more run than them. And just like I said for Luca, sometimes you just get lost through the cracks and that's unfortunate. There is quite a bit to not like, but I feel like what so many people lose is that a lot of the pros outweigh the cons if you're looking for a gaming experience. If I was still just playing casually, just trying to enjoy my time with this game, I truly think I would still be doing that. I would still enjoy what I was playing, what I was seeing. It offers a lot in that department. Just so many unique areas, so many cool characters, so many amazing moments. I don't want that to get completely overlooked, and it really feels like it has, and that's sad. That's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is something that, I don't know, it was kind of brewing for a while, and it's something that I wanted to talk about, but I could just never find the time or really the words I wanted to make this even a remotely entertaining video. But I tried my best. I hope I succeeded in some way, and I hope that there's other people out there who can kind of connect with this, or I hope there's a few of you who really start rethinking how you feel about the game, whether it be, man, I really do actually enjoy this, or, man, I don't think I enjoy this as much as I used to. And hey, if that's the case, then okay, well, I tried my best. But either way, I'm glad I was able to do this, and once again, I just really hope you guys enjoyed. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. We're slowly getting up there in subscribers, and it would mean the world if you could show some support to a small channel like me. I messed that sentence up at least 4 times. I don't want to talk about it. Alright, I will see you guys in the next video. Should be coming out soon. Bye-bye.